in the evolved Dinosaur. It's such a small but big space. Makes sense. Look, even a Dinosaur key. I'm not used to this thing. Wow. You know, I'm not used now to coming up to my car and as soon as I get near, it kind of opens for me. The mirrors come out, you know, the air conditioning comes on or the heating comes on, depending on what I want. And when I get in the car, I push a button and I'm ready to go. So to have this kind of antiquated thing now is a bit of a throwback. And again, which takes this thing from Dino Land to the future. Now, when I say the future, I'm going to make this quite clear. This car was only made for around 18 months before it was withdrawn in June of last year, I believe. Why that was, I honestly don't know, because if they'd have got the price right on this thing from day one, this would still sell now. Let's take it out for a spin. I'll explain what I'm doing here. So, key in like a normal ignition, foot on the brake, spin. All of a sudden, it all lights up. Let's get this radio off. That bing-ling noise is something else that I put into the car. It's not standard. So it's got a normal, like, park, reverse drive, part of its Dinosaur heritage, showing 5.7 miles per kilowatt hour at the moment. And a couple of days ago, with eco mode on, keeping to regular speed limits, we had it up to 6.3. Come on, 6.3. I've got it in reverse. I'm putting my belt on. We're going to go for a drive. Let me just show you what I mean by this first before I go. See what I mean? The normal, good old-fashioned. Now that B we'll talk about later. That's the dinging and whatever. I'll cross that bridge. At the moment, just to prove that I'm not spinning any yarns, 5.7 miles per kilowatt hour. It's got reversing sensors. It's got heated seats both sides. Ta-da, as you can see. It's got some bits and bobs that you wouldn't believe. Very, very light on the steering. And yes, it has its cheapness. Obviously, you know, no coverings and hard plastics. And the thing is, it's from the Volkswagen Group. I'm no big, massive lover of the Volkswagen Group cars. There's my normal baby there, look, as you well know. Looks like the American flag, that does, it? Anyway, we'll move on. I'm going to tell you how this thing drives. It is very quiet in here, and I'm going to say this straight off the bat. It's faster than it was when it was a petrol car. Now this is electric. It's far quicker off the mark. It's probably quicker top end as well, and it's super smooth. Let me just turn this heater down a bit. If that's, yeah, that's it. You can't hear it now. Lovely air conditioning, although saying that, this air conditioning has no heat pump, so when you turn it on you do see a downward spiral of your consumption, or should I say your range, sorry. When you're getting nearly 6 miles per kilowatt hour in the summer, does it matter about losing a bit of range when you've got the aircon on? No, it doesn't. So yeah, I mean, it's so lightweight, this thing. Like I say, it's got high seats. They've kept that original. And I'll give you a bit of a talk as I'm driving it. It is a bit on the hoo-hoo-hoo side. I'm used to a Tesla. And so this is very different. I'm going to put my foot down now. I'm in B. Let me get back into D mode. There you go. I don't know if you can hear that tiny wind, but it's typical electric. The brakes are very, very sharp. Sometimes you need that. When it's in D mode, i.e. regular drive, you don't really need to be cautious of one pedal driving, purely because it doesn't do it. When it's in D mode, you have to drive it like a normal automatic. But as I've got my foot on the accelerator now, I'm doing a regular 45, just under 50 mile an hour down this country road. And I'm going to take my foot off now, and it's just like a normal automatic. We're still doing 44, 43, 42, 41, 40. So I only lost about 4 or 5 miles an hour in that short space. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put it into B mode. Okay, now instantly as soon as you see that, it comes up saying recuperation level 4. not in America, it's in German, but it's a German car. It's a Spanish car actually, but it's owned by the confusing. Anyway, I'm now going to get up to that same speed as I come up to these T-junctions, and I'm going to do just under the 50 now, and then take my foot off, and instantly that regen is down to it's down to 40, 35 mile an hour. So for the same time lapse and the same distance, it slows down 15 mile an hour. Let's put it back into D. There you go, back into D. I've told my wife to drive it in this B mode all the time whenever she can, and put it in eco mode. You heard it ding there, hopefully you did. I've now got lane assist on, and I'm doing more than 30 mile an hour. So let's just try this lane assist, and it's quite sharp actually. If I get near this white line, whoa, it pushes me straight back over. Very weird, because you don't get that as severe in the Tesla. You get a chime and blah blah blah. So this is quite new to me, this weirdness of a little car doing that and pushing you back off the white line. My wife quite likes that. So as it drives now, we're doing 50, 55. Very little road noise. It's got good tyres on it actually. No wind noise through anywhere. This is a 2021 model. It was exactly 2 years old last week. And so last week, when it was 2 years old, we purchased it. The regular price of this car new 2 years ago, virtually to the week, was £19,500. That is expensive for a little car like this. But anyway, I'm going to turn around now and go back. I've looked at how it drives and tried to explain it to you. We'll go through some of the bits and bobs of the interior and have a bit more of a review look at it. But I can honestly say this has been an eye-opener for me, and I'm really glad I bought it for the wife predominantly, but we are using it as our day-to-day car, just to keep some of the mileage off the Tesla, because obviously the more mileage, the less it's going to be worth when I come to sell it. The price we pay for this, I'm not too concerned. So this little Dinosaur here has transformed itself into a futuristic thinker of a car. So there you go, as I'm driving along, nice steady 50. I've got D and I've got B and whatever, and if I put it into the B mode, and you look at the regen, now I've got someone behind me, so I can't let it go any more than that, so I'm going to accelerate. You've got the green for charging. When it goes into that green, you know you're putting regenerative braking. In the blue, it's the best way to be. So now we're back home. Let me give you a quick tour of this thing, outside and in. Look, it's all hard plastics. Nothing's changed, you know. This has changed. This is now gone all white. They're all black before, and it's different, you know, very different on the dashboard with the Mii Electric. Again, from Dinosaur to future car. Still got the old thing in the center here, which basically this is just to hold your phone, and behind it's a USB down the back there, if you can see that. And you can use an app called the Mii app from SEAT, which turns it into a sat nav and turns it into tell you how much you're charging as you're going along. It's all Bluetooth connected, that's all. And then the USB is just purely for charging. I'll come back to the interior later. So outside, you do have the flip out windows. Now I used to love these in old cars back in the day, don't know about now. Bit restrictive, but saying that, you know, they're so easy, child free, because you ain't going to get the kids winding down windows, and as you're going along with both of them open, you do get a bit of fresh air. Got a new cameraman, so I'm going to show you how this is done. Basically these two seats, one very simple, as lots of other cars that you know, but it's cave-like, 951 litres, which is very big for a car of this size. So yes, well, impressive to get stuff in this. The Fiat 500 might even fit in the boot. And then back up. Simply, as you do with all cars, don't trap the belt. And there you go. It's not bad material wise, I must admit. The seats are quite comfortable. All black, you know, but that's the thing. It is very, very clean, this one that we found. It took some filing actually, because some of them have been misused. Let's go around this. You've got Mii Electric stickers here, look, and decals. Indicators are actually lit up as you use them. Silly green number plates. These are your daytime running lights now, by the way, side lights if you want to call it that. So let's go in this side very quickly. Power windows, locking, regular handbrake, look, from Dino times. Wow, on an EV. But it does work, it is functional, and this is the other reason why we wanted this, or one of these, because they are so simplistic in their driving attribute. And my wife wanted something away from the Tesla, which is exactly the opposite. She wanted something that was easy to drive, get in, auto lights by the way, get in, key, boom, turn, away you go. All this is regular functional like any old ICE car from back in the day, so nothing out of the ordinary to drive. Very, very simplistic. No electric seats. You've got the old... yeah, every time I get in, I have to lower it. Every time she gets in it, she has to higher it, but hey-ho. They have to keep costs down on this thing, even in 2020. And you can tell that by not putting any coverings on here, like I've said before. Hard interior plastics. And even in the trunk space here. Let's have a look. Get up there. Badoom. You can tell, look. You know, it's not covered. It's very cheap looking carpeting. And underneath there, you've got where all your tools go, etc. No jack on this. But yeah, functional is the word, I guess. Charge lead cable. When they first came out, you did get both. You got a 240 regular pin, 3-pin plug one as well. They dropped that last year just before they made them obsolete. That's what it looks like from the rear. Nothing spectacular. A nice little car. Oh, by the way, it comes standard with reversing sensors, but I have now also put a reversing camera, which is not standard. Like I say, with this, it's not a bad sized trunk, that, you know, for a little car. It's quite deep. So we went shopping in this on Thursday and got 6 bags in there full of shopping. So it did it. It was adequate. Boom. It kind of like, this is all black and these are all blacked out, so it kind of looks pretty decent. It gives it a bit more shape and design. I can live with that. It hasn't got a frunk because it's too small. In there is just all the electrics, you know, being the electric car, so I won't bother showing you in there. I've not done a great deal of homework on the petrol ones of these because they didn't interest me. Yes, back in the day I did look at 1 or 2 for the wife when we were into fossil fuel cars, but we never bought one because there were other things optional that was good as, if not better. But now this has been took out of dinosaur land and into the future with the full electric motors, etc, etc, it's a different thing. Let me finish this one off by saying that I do believe that this would have still sold now if the price was right, like I said when I was driving it. At nearly 20 grand new, and the Volkswagen e-up being 22,000, it was well overpriced, you know, 2 years ago. But now it's a bargain, a very much big bargain. 15,000 mile on the clock. It is pretty much mint, as you can see. No flaws in it whatsoever, nothing missing. Everything is perfect on the thing. And we paid just over 10k for it. Do the maths. 10k for a car that will do 150 miles range minimum in the summer, maybe even more if you drive it right, instead of like I do. And if you put it in Eco Plus mode, okay, in the summer, and stay off the aircon with the windows open, this thing might even do 165 miles range. So yes, no longer a dinosaur car. Been took out of that scenario and into the future. So yes, one hell of a bargain for 10k. What a starter car that is. So you've got regular CCS, and these obviously are in a lock position, which is quite clever until you open the car. So let me just grab the key and I'll show you what I mean. Once you've opened it, they lock on them latches there, look, which is okay. You can't get it. So yeah, that's the charging side of it. 36.8 battery size on this particular model. It's the same as the e-up and also the Skoda e-Citigo. which they basically don't make anymore anyway. So normally when they come up for sale, they sell pretty quick. Let's put that on there because of what they are and how economically they are to run. So let's just recap what you get on this thing as standard on this SEAT Mii full electric. 165 miles, very possible if you take your time. Like I said, you do get heated mirrors, which you just switch around there, both electric, but they do not fold in electrically, although you can do it manually. Heated seats, of course, which I've mentioned, power windows both sides, they flick in and out, which is, I don't mind it actually. You do get also DAB radio, which I won't show you. It's DAB radio, built-in rear sensors. There's your heated seat controls. You do get lane assist as well, which is great. So yeah, and obviously this here to put your phone, to integrate your phone in. That's the size of the glove box. You get covers, but you don't get lights or whatever. Nothing on the steering wheel whatsoever on this car. It's all very, very basic. You've got no controls whatsoever. But again, for someone who just likes, that's better, for someone who likes the simplicity of the good old handbrake and the regular gear select and how simple it is to use on the interface side of things, then what can be wrong with this little car? Especially for a first EV or a second family EV, or if you live in a small village and have to just commute that 10-20 mile a day. Nearly forgot. 16-inch alloy wheels as standard on this SEAT Mii. Quite nice little wheels, them actually. One thing I did pick up on, which is a bit old-fashioned still, but again it's a cost cutter. Drum brakes on the rear, no disc brakes, but it doesn't need it. The regen is excellent, so you won't be using these a great deal if you're using the regen system for one pedal driving. So yeah, I think I've about covered everything now on this little baby. There you go, the Mii Electric.